We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. Of course, I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about some things. The FOMC minutes came out yesterday, and the market reaction was quite positive. We didn't get a full pump, a big breakout or something like that, but we are sitting at around 60,000 US dollars with Bitcoin at the present moment, at the current time, and we are still looking to go higher, and we are going to take a look at what is actually going on here after the halving with the cycle, because there are some very interesting charts that I want to show you that prove basically that it's all liquidity dependent and not dependent on the halving itself or the halving effect itself. So that is my point. And then also I want to take a look with you at Ecomi quickly and discuss a little bit the Ecomi and Veve stuff, what is new there. So make sure to stay tuned all the way through. So, good morning, everyone. I know this is like the most boring time in crypto, and only the strongest are here all the time. So, of course, there are thousands of people watching on YouTube during that, but this is only a fraction of what it's going to be once crypto is actually making a move and coming back. So, do me a favor, guys. I know a couple of people here, but smash up the like button right now, please, to bring out the stream. Costs only a second of your day and nothing in money, but it helps tremendously this channel to grow. And also subscribe if you haven't yet, and so on. Tick the little bell. Grab your coffees, get ready, and let's look at what is going on in the market. I see a couple of people already. So we have here Bodo, GM green candles, nice to see. Yes, I mean you have to drill down into the hourly or so, then it's getting exciting. Trucking Inc is here. What's going on, man? We should have we should have done a presence counter for Trucking Hank. It's probably like 100 days in a row or so. Andre Omigeko also here. Good morning. Jasper is here, and JKRB is here. Good to see you again, JKRB. And Jasper obviously also. Jasper's also starting a streak, I think. Anyways, let's jump in and look at the Bitcoin price. And as I said, I mean, if you go back and see like since when we have arrived at this price level, you are reaching this. What is that? Let me just quickly look here. 28th of February, exactly. I said this yesterday as well. So that is basically sideways since then, and that is, what is that, a half a year or so? 176 days. So yes, round about half a year of sideways. Obviously, we have since then still formed a new high, but we also have gone down to 49,000, but it feels like we are stuck in this area at 60,000 since a long time. So if we actually want to see something, then we have to go into this time frame here, where we see, where we basically see this little channel here at the moment. Also trying to break out. We saw this yesterday. We were trying to break out of this range, and yeah, we see this rising channel. And actually, the thing with rising channels is that the likelihood is higher that they break to the downside, right? So we could see more of this bouncing in this range. And then also there are some people, some TA guys that are basically saying this is a so-called bump and run pattern, where you have this sharp drop, a bump here, and then something like this forming, where after the bump you are going to break out here at some point higher, right? So this could happen in the next couple of days, maybe in the beginning of next week or so. If we don't get any significant rally out of Friday, which by the way could be happening, it would then be in the beginning of next week. But Friday, what is happening on Friday? So Friday, the freaking Friday is tomorrow. We will be obviously here because we need to talk about what's going to happen. But Jerome Powell is going to be at Jackson Hole, and is going to talk about Fed policy and whatnot. So this could influence the market further. We see this green candle here, and it came out because of the Fed minutes. So let's talk about this. Basically, the Fed minutes are pointing even more to a higher likelihood of a rate cut. So what we see here is basically the vast majority of participants at the July 3031 meeting observed that if the data continued to come in about as expected, it would be appropriate to ease policy at the next meeting. So what are the Fed minutes? They basically tell you what has been discussed and who was in favor of what and so on, right? So, and I think the most important part is here. Where is it? Yeah, the document stated that several meeting participants observed that the recent progress on inflation and increases in the unemployment rate had provided a plausible case for reducing the target range 25 basis points at this meeting, or that they could have supported such a decision. So basically they were already discussing the rate cut for the last month, and now they have to wait 24/7 days, or basically they will wait 27 days, and then at the next meeting very likely they are going to cut by at least 25 basis points. And then also we see here, but the sentiment was twofold. Inflation makers had shown price pressure easing considerably, while some members noted concerns over labor market, as well as struggles that households, particularly those at lower end of income spectrum, were having the current environment. So they're struggling, and that is exactly where the economy starts to slide. And we hope that in 27 days, when the next FOMC meeting is, here you see the counter. If you go to the site, you can do it yourself. It's cmegroup.com, and on the site you can see when the next meeting is and what the probabilities are for a rate cut. So this is the probability for a 25 basis point rate cut according to market, and this is the probability, even almost 35%, of a 50 basis point rate cut, right? So there is no probability on maintaining the current rate. So no probabilities for that, and there's a reason for it. Not only this, but there is a reason here. The U.S. job growth was overstated by 818,000 jobs. So what has been, usually in the last months, people looked at the job growth And they were like, oh my God, the job market is growing still very strong. So based on that, we cannot expect rate cuts. But this has been actually false numbers. So now the Bureau of Labor Statistics revealed that 818,000 fewer jobs were created from March 23 to March 24 than previously reported. So this is already the revision of the March numbers, right? So where in March people were still believing that this rate cut is maybe not even happening in this year. Hey, Green Lantern, what's going on? Present, nice. The significant revision lowers the estimate employment growth from 2.9 million to 2.1 million, and this is quite a large number. It's not an error by a couple of thousand. No. That is a large number, right? So, however, some economists suggest the revision may not be as concerning as they appear, attributing changes to methodological factors and outdated data. Well, it basically means that the economy is way weaker as it appeared before. So let's hope that the rate cut is not coming too late. Let's talk about crypto. So I found this to be interesting because it also shows while the US is split, and in the US basically there is a huge political debate going on how you should position the country in terms of crypto, right? So the Republicans being the crypto favors, whereas the Democrats are being the anti-crypto fraction. And you can say whatever you want, like, oh, but Kamala yesterday, she said, or her staff said that she's moving in a pro-crypto manner or so. The program doesn't mention crypto, which could be positive in the sense that they also are not going to talk about, like, we are going to shut down crypto. But there is no consensus in the entire, and also meaning that the population doesn't really have consensus. But in UAE, they are going full crypto. They see the chance of, if you attract crypto industry, it could propel the country way forward, right? So they have a hub for crypto companies, very friendly tax regime. Wages can be legally paid out in crypto. Imagine being paid in crypto. And now they have a UAE, Tether issued UAE dirham pegged stablecoin, which is crazy, right? So that by itself is crazy that a country is moving so fast, right? And we see that some countries are interested in attracting the crypto industry directly to them. I think Brazil has taken a big step in that direction in the last couple of years, and has fully embraced or mostly embraced crypto. But also Singapore is moving quickly. What other, yeah, like UAE, obviously. I think like the Baltic states are pretty on the forefront, at least technology wise, on crypto, like Estonia. So yeah, very good. Jasper Frank says, how did you get interested in investing? Who are your inspirations? That's a little bit of a longer story, but how did I get interested? Like, it wasn't crypto first, it was stocks first. So many years ago, when I was still in university and had my first university job. Usually for everyone, I think investing starts when you earn your first when you earn your first money yourself, and you see how much work you have to put into to get like 10 euros out of an hour or something like that, right? So that was when minimum wage was literally introduced, or it was introduced a couple of years back. So I was working in a club at night when like loud music was playing, serving drinks at a bar. Which, by the way, if you're a student and you're single, this is potentially one of the best jobs ever to get a number of a girl or something like that. Just saying, so right? But you serve drinks, loud music. You go home at 5 or 6 in the morning. The sun is already rising, depending on whether it's winter or summer. And I was like sitting there, looking at my money, and it's like, damn, that cannot be this money has to be put to work, right? So I started playing around with a demo account of stocks, right? I didn't even buy real stocks, no skin in the game and so on. And I actually dabbled along for years on just playing around with demo stocks. And at some point I said, this cannot be it, because I mean, I was up like, I was building stuff like a military portfolio with like Lockheed Martin was 100% in my portfolio, so from when I bought it. So I said I have to have skin in the game, right? And that was already closer to 2018 and stuff like that, when I really decided I buy some stocks. And then I bought some. My first stock was German Telecom. So I bought the German Telecom stock, and I was looking at the stock like every day, how it moved like 0 point something percent. And then I looked at dividends, and I made the calculation, how much money do I have to make to be able to live off of my dividends, right? And how much does the stock have to grow? And then all these thoughts like, oh, but if inflation is X% and the growth and the dividend and whatever, like, how does it have to move? And I figured that I have to potentially work at this savings rate. I would have to potentially work like another 275 years or something like that to then enjoy my moderate wealth at this rate. So definitely some anti-aging drugs should have been part of my journey there. And then I kind of found crypto right at before when it pumped in the last cycle. So yeah, there you go. And then when I was in crypto, I was like, okay, this is moving really, really fast. And I got more and more and more interested. And in the absolute bull run, I also found a little bit, was it in, it was already like I was in Bitcoin first, and then I found VeChain, and then I found Ecomi and Veve, right? So this was basically the journey, and there are a lot of steps. Like you asked, who are your inspirations? I think the first book that I ever bought was, I'm not reading books, right? I'm listening to books, because if I read one line and my mind wanders off, so I cannot really focus. But when I listen, I can actually focus quite a bit. So I bought The Snowball from Warren Buffett, and this also accompanied like, okay, so how he and his friend went to golf courses, and they fished out the golf balls from the lake and then sold the golf balls for, I don't know, 50 cents or something like that to golf players, and then they bought stuff with it and sold that. So crazy. And still, I'm looking to what other options are there, right? I mean, there's a whole field besides investing and going to hamster wheel and so on. There's the whole field of entrepreneurship, of maybe selling stuff, of investing in other stuff and so on. But at the moment, the Bitcoin play is reasonable to me. And then I thought, like, I enjoy talking to people also. So I created this YouTube channel because of Ecomi and Veve, and then I broadened the scope to crypto. But that's basically it. Speaking of Bitcoin, there was a real chance, apparently, a couple of years ago, that like 15 years ago, that it would actually be Titcoin and not Bitcoin. That's apparently, that is no joke. So we would have constant thumbnails and titles today if that was the case, referring to Titcoin. If that was the case, this is apparently an email from Satoshi Nakamoto 15 years ago. Random question, but what do you think about Titcoin instead of Bitcoin? I think people might pay more attention to it since it has tit in the name. Either way, I got titcoin.org just in case, Satoshi. That is... so I'm very happy that it is Bitcoin, because otherwise I don't know if we were at the stage, or we would actually be at the stage of ETF, mass adoption, country, potential reserve stockpile. Imagine that if all these speakers would have to... like, you know how Donald Trump says Bitcoin? Yeah, it's like Bitcoin, or Michael Saylor also. How they say it. Imagine they would have to say this other word here. It would be just hilarious and no one would take it seriously. So that might have been a very decisive moment to not do this in history. What also is nice is, so here we have a big news here from the Singapore-based Bitcoin miner BitFuFu, also a nice name, BitFuFu, reports an average cost to mine one Bitcoin via self-mining of 51,000, almost 52,000 US dollars in Q2 2024 compared to $20,000 in Q2, which is a 168% increase year over year. So that means basically that the miners, if they are, I mean, I don't know how it is with energy costs in Singapore, but this seems to be a little bit cheaper than the average cost of mining, which is more estimated at $60,000. But it would also mean that these miners are still operating in profit even when Bitcoin crashes down to 50 something thousand. But we see also that until the halving, the cost for miners were only at $20,000 a Bitcoin. So they have actually made some nice profits there when Bitcoin was hitting 70,000 and they were still mining at this price, right? So that definitely is. But 50,000 also shows you the potential, right? While this cost happened, Bitcoin went to 70,000 to 69,000 in the last cycle. Now this is the price. So considering that is about, the price went about 3x above this. So if you would go 3x above this price, you would go to 154,000 or something like that. So yeah. Then also don't forget that this number, 16 billion cash, will be distributed to original FTX holders. FTX holders 16 billion in Q4. So Q4 starts with October. It starts with October. So October, November, December is Q4. And so Q3 is actually ending in a month and a week. So that we don't know exactly when this happens, but this distribution is not Bitcoin, it's cash, right? Meaning that especially if the price doesn't go nuts before, that these 16 billion are probably going to be allocated in the crypto space. Okay. Also, the exchange reserve on all exchanges is dropping like a rock, right, for Bitcoin. So you see this here, it's the yellow chart, and the red arrow, absolutely necessary here to see what's happening, is showing us that we have this pump here, right? But here, all in the sideways, like in this bull flag, I would still call it a bull flag, we see that there is massive accumulation going on under the sheets, so to say, and the retail user just doesn't see it because they don't look at on-chain metrics, right? And then yesterday I showed this to you, but only the 4x's, right? And it kind of got me thinking about diminishing returns. By the way, I only saw this now. Tracking says my first job was $425 an hour. That's crazy. Imagine it's like work 2 hours to buy a small piece of meat today, right? Or something like that. Chris Thomas is also here. Welcome. I had so many rare hodlers here today. That's crazy. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I like sharing the story. I nothing to hide, right? I mean, we can all learn from what others had in their trajectory. The Alchemist says, "Hey man, still hodling Omi, 90%, 91% down on it." I think that is yeah. If you don't DCA, it's absolutely devastating. On the other hand, it's not that likely maybe, but it can go another 90% down, right? Technically it can. Trucking Inc. says, "I keep DCAing Omi, brought my average down. So excited for this bull run." I am also very excited. My average is not that far down because I just didn't buy that much, but technically I could just buy now at 0003. Smart money is buying. Supply shock ahead, says Green Lantern. It seems like it, especially for Bitcoin. So look at that. In terms of diminishing returns, it's interesting. Let's say the last cycle got abruptly interrupted by Fed monetary policy, right? Tightening very fast here, right? So what would have happened if it was a normal cycle? Question mark, right? And then also, we only have 2 real cycles to base our opinion on. And then if I see that from the bottom there is a 4x, and then from this bottom is a 4x, and today's bottom is a 4x, we need this cycle to determine if there are really diminishing returns. Because what if, obviously there should be diminishing returns if the money supply doesn't grow as much, and it's always harder to increase the market cap. But how much is the diminish in the returns, and will it be diminishing compared to this interrupted cycle if now the liquidity comes in at a little bit slower basis, but they go full through with the cycle? Who knows, right? So could we see, what would that be here? So we are sitting at 60K. So if we say we have diminishing returns, like here is, instead of a 10x, it's a 7x, and here it would be a 4x, that would still put us at $240,000 Bitcoin price. If it's a 3x, it's 180K. So still pretty bullish, even if it's a 3x. But what got me thinking is, if it's diminishing returns, why do we do a 4x every cycle, right? Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Why isn't the bump from the bottom smaller than this? Why is it always 4x, right? Okay, so we will see how this cycle plays out. Once the top is in and complacency phase is over and we're in the next bear market, we will know what actually happened. Speaking of which, I want to make a point here that I made a couple of times, and that is United States election. So you don't see it on first glance, but look at this, the black cycle, this is us at the moment, right? So, and this is not, as we always look at it, this is not the halving profit or the halving performance, but it's cycle bottom to top. Current cycle versus the last 4 and the last 8 years, right? So the last run is this one, and you also see that in the last run we started rising earlier versus in the two years ago we started rising slower, but a little bit later, not that extreme. And this is why I say the start of it is the election, very likely, but the way it goes is the money printing. So we see, and in accordance to this, we see that we are actually completely on track. And even if we would follow these 2 runs and we say until November, we still have more downside technically, right? Because compared to this, we are actually on the upper end of where we should be. And there is a big downside, like it is in fact a bigger downside, a bigger gap that has been forming here for the other 2 until into November, right? So here's the US elections. This is where both charts went into a parabolic mode. So we could see that again, like that we get this gap, right? And that scares the shit out of everyone. When will all these ETFs start selling? It depends. I mean, the question is what the strategy is of these companies. Maybe they're not traders, so maybe they will be selling in like 12 years or so, right? Or constantly selling just a little bit and then reacquiring and so on. So you always have to see, and this is something that really annoys me on Twitter, is always say, while you are scared, ARK Invest or BlackRock just bought more. It's not ARK Invest or BlackRock. It's some investor through them that buys or sells. They are basically only the broker and the custodian for the certificate of settlement, right? So it's like me going on an online platform and buying something, and then, for example, me buying a crypto on Coinbase, and then someone saying, "Oh, Coinbase just bought this." No, it was not Coinbase. It was me through Coinbase. Like the ETFs are the same in the same way, right? So when will all these ETFs start selling? I think probably too late, because all of these for all of these institutional investors and all of these these guys that are buying ETFs is probably their first crypto bull run. So it could be happening that they also will FOMO in once this happens, right? Once the elections are done. Alchemist asks, what are your thoughts on a recession? The Buffett indicator suggests the American stock market is overpriced. Maybe we are at the top of the mountain. Yes and no. I would say that maybe this bump even could be it when they say like, oh, I think maybe we're in recessive environment. But I mean, we have been feeling it already since a longer time. I think this deserves its own analysis, because it also depends on what you consider, like where the top is. So for example, let's open here. We can open the Dow. So on the Dow Jones, we can, is that it? That was probably not it, right? Was that the Dow Jones? DOJ should be actually I have to put in the ticker DOJ, right? 1 second. So that is the Bitcoin dominance. DOJ is Department of Justice. What is the ticker for the Dow? Dow Jones. DJI, Dow Jones Industrial Average, is it that? I don't think so, right? Or maybe it is. I think that should be it, right? Yeah, I think that should be it. So, for example, this is this is the Lehman Brothers crash, right? So this is when actually something broke in the housing market and so on, stock market, like all the banks with the bad packages and stuff like that. So I would not exactly, like Dan O says, trying to time the market, especially the stock market, is kind of is almost impossible. So what I've seen all the time is like people looking at this and they say, oh, this is a bubble. Like, for example, here, right? Take this one here. There's like, oh, this is a bubble. This is going to lead to the biggest crash of all times. Let's say you cannot see the rest, right? And then it is like, oh, let's sell. And it's 39% crash, which is huge, right? Huge stock crash. But then they go like, parabolic rise, 550%, 5.5x over, don't get me wrong, this is like 10 years, right? But it's just going and going and going. And of course there are bumps, there are recessions, right? So this is the dot-com bubble, this one, 37%, and then this is the Lehman Brothers crash, and then this is C19. And look what they did on C19. C19 could have been way worse than Lehman Brothers technically, but they just put on the money printer, and they continued to print, right? So here we have another one, January 22, as actually almost where we bottomed also for crypto, and this is where global liquidity is coming back. And this is why I say we may not have a recession crash now. We may have this printed away and get the crash later. We don't know. We can just go on. And also we had this small crash, right? This one here, this 7% thing, because of the Japanese carry trade, all eaten up, right? So when we are talking about this, I would like to look at liquidity and look at cycles from a liquidity perspective, right? And what we see here is, here's your C19 crash, right? And the funny thing is, global liquidity went away in 17, 18, 19, leading into 19, and then when C19 happened, they started printing. So if you would have had a nice, like a huge crisis, why wouldn't it be C19? Like, why wouldn't this be a big prolonged crisis, crash, whatever, right? It's not. Look at that. It's only, if you look at how it really was, it's like rumors of this illness spread. And then the videos appeared and whatnot, and then it arrived in Europe, and crash. Everything happened in 2 months. This is 2 months. And then the money printer went on. They only let it crash for 2 months. So technically, you could have this type of crash now, and you would still be ready for the money printer on the elections to do this massive spike, right? Would be present to buy, right? You could have this and then continue, but they are already bringing the liquidity right now. They are already bringing it, because you see this here, this uptick, and so this is and global liquidity is working in 4-year cycles, and it's driven mainly by U.S. economy, plus also China's already in it to expand global liquidity, and it will only continue more from here. So this is our last cycle, and this is the 16-17 cycle. Look, liquidity doesn't even have to go to this massive peak to have a mega cycle in crypto, right? It just has to tick up and stay higher for longer. That is the only thing that's needed. And look what we're doing. We're just here in the beginning phases, in the uptick. Yeah. So I would argue that this is the most important thing in crypto and investing in general, to look at how global liquidity is. And technically, you can just say, the moment that you peak on global liquidity and you're on your way back, you can sell your crypto, move away, and wait for the bottom to be in, right? So I would say, look, and we are a little bit out of sync here. We are a little bit too late with our uptick. And guess what? Crypto is consolidating a little bit longer than we are used to. So obviously, when they print money, when money is coming into the market, it takes a while until it takes effect, right? So that basically it. And here's the reason why all the countries need to pump liquidity into the economy, right? So obviously we have this US debt clock that we looked at, 35 trillion, and that's actually an older screenshot. There's another 100 billion already on top of it. But here's also your debt to GDP ratio. which means that once these ratios are this, or even like in the case of UK, over 100%, meaning there's more debt than the whole economy produces in 1 year in output, then you don't have the chance anymore to get rid of your debt just by paying back debt on this increase in economy and so on. No, you have to print the money, right? And so we see that here for China, right, 14 trillion, Japan 13 trillion, Germany 3 trillion, right? So Germany is at 80%, US is at 90%, Japan is at 300% in debt of their of what the economy is actually producing, which is insane, right? I mean, no other country, Greece is also pretty effed, right? But it's in the European Union, and the central bank is working for all countries together. So there are a lot of countries that are above the 100%, so they have to do something about it. And the only thing that they can do other than default is to inject money, print money, pay back the debt. And what happens if, just imagine, because some people are like, okay, but then it reduces the debt, so what? You have to imagine, where did they get this money from? Yeah, from all participants in the economy, buying, which were buying government bonds and like lending to the government and whatever, right? So if they pay back the debt, what does that mean? So they print the money, they pay back the debt. So that means that actor in the economy, that actor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they have now this money at hand and they can do something with it. So they can invest, they can pay salaries, they can invest in new technology and so on, right? So that is basically how they pump money into the economy that they just printed, and how it arrives at a certain point in the crypto market. Because let's say you give this 20 billion to this and that company, they gonna maybe some of it into Bitcoin ETFs through BlackRock. Who knows, right? Good morning, Captain Veve. What is going on? By the way, guys, nice that Captain Veve is here. So a big thanks to all of the other people except Captain Veve in this chat for going to Captain Veve's channel and being subscribed at his channel, because we actually made it, guys. We made it. He has reached over 1,000 subscribers, also thanks to you. So the community here around Ecomi and Veve is strong. We showed the strength. And now he finally can monetize his content. And it's absolutely crazy, because he has put out like almost 800 videos, or 800 videos, lives and whatever. Reaching this number is a big milestone. So now he can monetize, but hodl the subscribe until he actually got it. Hodl the subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. That is very important. Yeah, and then also talking about so this is the Solana news of the day, right? So McDonald's has been hacked on Instagram, and the hackers, they launched a rug pull. So and then even they were making fun of everyone else. So they were like, sorry, you have just been rug pulled by India X crew. Thank you for the 700,000 in Solana. So this is crazy. So they launched a Solana based meme coin. And then they shilled it on the hacked Instagram, extracting $700,000. And it was apparently Indian hacker group or whatever, right? So crazy. What is going on? So this is the coin apparently, a Grimace on Soul on Radium or something like that. So it is not very nice what happened here. Let's also look at the market. So obviously the market likes the green candles a little bit more right now. Matic is up. Finally, Matic is moving a little bit. I also have some Matic. Link is also up 10%. What is this? Captain Veve said, I try to watch your channel, but I don't understand. Oh yeah, exactly. Captain Veve says, I hope AI is bridging that barrier or this gap soon. Yeah, that could be actually an idea. Because I think there are some awesome content creators also in France, but they do it in French, and no one speaks French except the French and the countries where the French were before, and so it's difficult for many people to look at this. GM, hopefully the run starts at 9, 10, 11, 2024. I mean, it's almost September, but I think the likelihood is that the run up really starts at somewhere later this year, because the elections are so late, right? And you have seen the comparison just before, Roman, hopefully. The cycle, according to, where is it? According to this, we still have time until the end of October into November. This could be the time, right? Where the real fun begins, and then 1 year of fun into from September to September, or from October to September, or something like that, right? We will be here constantly talking about it. But I also hope, from my YouTube perspective, I'm also very hopeful that this run starts soon, right? Because I mean, this is like the engagement is very, very low. I mean, if you look at this here, like how many people are actually interested in crypto right now, in terms of, like, usually you have these Google search terms looking for Bitcoin and so on. It's like, look at this, it's on a 19, and Ethereum is on a 3, and NFTs on a 1, and actually there were only in the bear market you had lower search terms in the very end of the bear market, but even in the bear market sometimes you had 20. So we're still kind of in bear market territory regarding retail interest in Bitcoin, and that is for two factors. First, Bitcoin isn't on all-time high, which means that people are only interested if Bitcoin is at all-time high, like new people. And secondly, new people don't have money at the moment to ape into it, so we need to have the liquidity effect, global liquidity effect first. Then people have more money, and then people are looking at, oh, where can I ape my money in that inflation doesn't get it, and I can make nice money and get a Lambo. Yeah, and that reflects also in this here, right? In the fear and greed index, it also reflects. Actually, it's a little bit better now. It's at 39, so we are still at fear, but not at extreme fear anymore. It got a little bit better. Anyways, so the market is a little bit green, a little more greener on the week. This is not Omi, by the way. This is Mantra. Omi is here. Or is it even here? It was outside. It was on 300. Let's see, Ecomi. Yeah, 315. So it's in this space now. So here's the Ecomi token, right? This little red ball here is the Ecomi token. So it's time for Ecomi to do a move like these guys here in the same bracket, but it doesn't. And yeah, here you have the Ecomi. So we saw some bigger sell volume here. If you look at this is the daily chart, right? So we had a big buy volume here. Now we have a bigger sales volume here. So it's not guaranteed that the bottom is in for Ecomi at this point in time. Actually, I wouldn't say that also, because if you look at the chart from this perspective, let's get rid of all these lines. There's way too many lines. So you just see what's going on here. Yeah, we cannot say for sure, right? We have this month ending in 9 days. It will very likely be a red candle. It's at all-time lows, not at all-time lows actually, if you consider the where the token started, but since the listings at the very lows. So yeah, if you look at the 4-hourly, something's always happened, but I like to look at the monthly because it shows you the reality of things. There is no reversal sign yet on the monthly, right? And it's probably depending on really on what is happening with the tokenomics in the end, through Stacker, because we need the burns transparent on Twitter by the Omi watching channels. Yeah, so Omi is constantly being decimated since here, and that's also why some people are 90. Yeah, so we are down 96, almost 97% from the top. And on the other hand, from where we are right now to the all-time high, we would have a 31x if we would go back to the previous all-time high. But we also have to see that since here, Omi actually got diluted in the sense of that some that had advisory allocations, they were selling all the way through, like they were selling billions of tokens into the market. So now, obviously, that needs to be first bought up by someone else to reach this level again, right? So yes, Captain Veve has some Ecomi tokens as well. And also it means everyone except like the previous investors, like the seed investors, everyone is down on Ecomi, right? Everyone is down on Ecomi. So if you get Ecomi, first of all, if you get Ecomi here, doesn't mean that you will be like buying the bottom. You can still go to 0003 flat or something like that, right? It's possible. But yeah, I think we have to look out for signs of reversal, right? I mean, this is the monthly chart. Also, the stochastic RSI on the monthly is still on the downwards move, right? Here's still a lot of space to go down. How is it on the weekly though? Let's see. Yeah, we are already on the bottom on the weekly. Maybe this is a little bit more data. Not on the bottom in the sense of bottom here, but we are in bottom range, which can still look like this then, right here, before we potentially make a move for. So we need to have the whales step in. I read on Twitter that it is difficult to buy in these ranges now without pumping the price. Dan O is saying it's so disingenuous when people say dollar Omi is outperforming other coins when it's only down much this week or month or whatever when it's at cycle lows. Yeah, exactly. Who is saying that? Like, I don't know who is saying that, because Omi is outperforming nothing. It's outperforming only if you compare it to other coins, it's only outperforming the coins that are down 98 and 99%, right? So it's really, which coin is that? So every coin, like, for example, you look at ICP, random example, ICP dollar, right? So for example, this is a chart that many altcoins have. Like, they have been coming down in such a way and forming some kind of then bullish divergence here, and then they pumped and they took out their previous high, right? So you have kind of this resistance here going on, and then they pumped, or if you draw it like this, they pumped and they bounce on top of the previous highs, right? So if you have this as a support range, they bounce on top of the support range. So, and you can take a lot of coins that look, so for example, you take Chainlink. You take Chainlink as a comparison, and you see also the same thing. Like you have this massive base, you break out, you retest, and off you go, right? That is technically a scenario, right? You retest here, and then you go. So every coin that shows some strength, and look, here's another one, Arweave, right? All coins that we like on this channel. Here, big falling wedge, boom, mega pump, and here, but also here for Arweave, the same pattern, right? Here's your like your previous highs and resistances and so on, and it comes out of the base, like it went bullish here, comes back, retests, and off you go, right? So this is everything. This happens for all the coins in the market, like Avalanche. I didn't even look at Avalanche, I think, previously, so I don't even know, but I bet it has the same pattern. And look at that, same pattern. Previous highs here, right? Here, flip, resistance into support, bounce, right? So that's where we are right now. Here's the bounce. So you can take whatever coin that shows some strength and it looks like this. Yeah, so obviously new coins, they don't have this, but coins of the previous cycle that are still building, that have nice patterns and so on, they all show this type of strength. Now, let's get back to Ecomi. Where's my Gate.io chart? There. So for Ecomi, we don't have that, right? So what we should have for Ecomi is, here are the highs that are relevant. So you should have a breakout already, like this. You should have had a breakout here, and then a bounce, if you would, and then we look like this, right? Instead, you had a rejection here and you went down, right? So this doesn't mean that it cannot come, but it definitely doesn't have it with the other coins, meaning all of these other coins that I showed right now, AVAX, Chainlink, yada yada, they all outperform Ecomi, right? All of them. So this is one comparison, or this is one thing where I say, why should I buy Ecomi right now if I don't see any signs of a reversal, right? I mean, I can still, even when I see Ecomi take out, like reclaim certain resistance, I can still buy cheap, right? I can still buy cheap where everyone bought here. I can still buy that when I see this as a reversal, but also I can see it drop to 0003 flat and buy then maybe, right? So it's really it's a weird place to be in, right? Okay, so and then let's see. Let's go quickly to Veve to check out what's going on with Veve as well. Okay, so we're getting some comic drop. Oh, nice. Here's we are aware that some Android users are currently experiencing issues with crafting the USPS view of our planets. Oh, actually, this drop happened and I forgot about it. But they look nice. Pain of 16 collectible, while our teams are working to resolve this and so on. So a crafting issue. I think this is a little bit like, this is also a little bit it disturbs me, because this is like the crafting problems, they are going on for a long time, right? But these planets, they look really nice, so I have to look after the stream. I have to see if they are still available in store or if it's sold out. I don't know, but they look really nice. By the way, what I don't get is why is the forever USA, like the forever, why is it crossed out on the stamp? Does anyone know this? I don't know. Like, this is, if you see this here, the forever, it's like not forever. I don't know. Okay, some engagement. So this is what I like about the Veve channel is that they have so much to post about. They get nice engagement numbers and so on. So this is good. This is a nice cover, by the way, the Deadpool corpse. One of the variants that didn't make the cut. Check out this Deadpool and Wolverine concept art by David Masson of Wolverine Pool. Okay, this could be a collectible though. I mean, if it doesn't, we've had digital collectibles of Wolverine in his iconic yellow-blue suit and collected brown suit. So what if we added this to the range? I would definitely say yes, add it, because it would be something unique that didn't come out. No Jupiter. Why? Oh my God, no Jupiter. Why? Because of Jupiter exchange or what? So the alien drop. This is something like all these accessories for the drops and so on. They are coming out. I mean, it really shows that at this point in time, you really need to have your niche. If you're collecting, it's like, okay, you're an alien collector, you buy the alien, you buy the stuff around it, you buy the posters, right? But if you're like, oh, I buy everything, it's getting expensive. I mean, it is already since a long time, but it's getting expensive to buy everything. So you need to be either a collector in a specific niche, or you have to make your own, you have to make your very good decisions on what you get and what you don't get, right? So people can't print them and use them. Oh, so on the original stamps that you use, it's not crossed out? Is that correct? Is that the reason? Or is it also on the like, I thought it's also on the physical stamp crossed out. But I don't know, right? So this is referring to the planet stamp. But let's see here. I didn't see that for the. So there's Mercury and stuff like that, and Mars. Mars is nice because of the Elon. Here's Jupiter. Why do you say there's no Jupiter? Saturn. Here's Uranus, right? Silly childish joke. Don't laugh. Anyway, sorry, I meant Pluto. Yeah, that is a shame, like Pluto. But we have Pluto as a lenticular card, right? So, anyways, guys, for today, that is it. Now, tomorrow is getting really interesting because of the Jackson Hole thing. So there could be some volatility into the weekend, but we're steadily heading into more global liquidity. Things are going to go as planned, very likely. Could there be a recessive crash for a month or so? Yes, it could be, but let's not be too sure of it. Dan also is waiting so long for Veve to wow us with something awesome as unexpected, losing faith. Actually, just to comment on this also, we have been kind of wowed in a bad time, but for Veve, I think it's like that. Blackpink was a wow, I would say, because it's a huge brand. It is really a nice achievement, and also the Veve comic side is also a bigger like a very big achievement for Veve. But I think what you mean is like in terms of tokenomics and NFT-nomics. So what you can do with it, like the burns, how it's going to be increased scarcity, how the Omi token ties into it. Yes, I agree with you. The wow factors are really not present, right? So yeah, make sure to smash up the like button on your way out, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, and tick the little bell to always get notified. And wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in the next